The average human lifespan is exactly 30,000 days. That is your entire allocation. The math gets sobering quickly. If you are 30 years old right now, 11,000 of them are already gone. They have been permanently exhausted. We tell ourselves we will get around to our actual goals someday, but someday is a psychological trap. It tricks the brain into operating as if we have an infinite reserve of tomorrows waiting in the bank. This is why traditional time management fails. It treats time as a recurring daily schedule to be organized, rather than a rapidly diminishing resource that is quietly running out. You have likely noticed that when you were a kid, a single summer felt almost endless, but as an adult, years vanish like months. This is known as the time unit paradox. The human brain measures time by recording novel experiences. When you are young, everything is new, so your brain is constantly writing data. That high volume of processing makes time feel thick and expansive. Adulthood operates on routine. You take the same commute, eat the same breakfast, and watch the same shows. Because nothing is new, your brain simply stops recording. Your days blur together into a state of time blindness. A vanishing life is an error in perception. You can actively hack your own internal clock by forcing your brain to pay attention again. Taking a different route to work or having a conversation with a stranger injects the necessary novelty to make your time expand. Managing your calendar is useless if you have zero energy to execute what is on it. Energy preservation dictates what you can actually accomplish. One of the most effective ways to protect that energy is through strategic incompetence. By being deliberately bad at non-essential tasks, people stop asking you to do them, keeping your reserves intact for the work that actually matters. Highly effective people operate on a to-list strategy. They write down everything they want to achieve, circle the top 3, and aggressively avoid the rest. Identifying exactly what to ignore is a core skill of execution. You cannot power through using sheer willpower. It functions like a physical muscle. Every decision makes it weaker until your grip fails. Instead of relying on a depleting muscle, design your environment to make your preferred choices automatic. Remove the friction from your good habits and add barriers to your distractions. Your best career moves sit one step outside your current comfort zone. Stepping into this adjacent possible keeps you learning and prevents you from sinking into career quicksand. People often optimize for high salaries too early in their careers. Optimizing for learning creates more long-term value. Every new skill you acquire functions like a lottery ticket for a future opportunity you cannot yet predict. Maintain a practice of deliberate amateurism. Staying strategically bad at a few hobbies keeps your ego in check and forces your brain to remain highly flexible. When we attempt to be creative, we assume we need total freedom, but unlimited options often cause the mind to freeze. Strict constraints force the brain to find unexpected workarounds. Look at this page from Shakespeare's First Folio. He operated under the rigid, uncompromising constraints of meter and rhyme, and those limitations were the specific catalyst for his linguistic precision. Sustained growth occurs when you strategically combine these unique skills within strict limitations. This creates a professional profile that is difficult for others to replicate. Human relationships function precisely like bank accounts. Grand, sporadic gestures mean very little. Trust is built on consistent, small daily deposits, a quick text, or simply showing up on a Tuesday. Strangely, shared pleasure does not build the deepest bonds. Mitigating shared suffering and overcoming difficult challenges together creates more resilient trust. This graph tracks the biological life cycle of raw emotion. The chemical rush of anger or fear lasts exactly 90 seconds. Once that wave naturally flatlines, remaining angry is no longer a biological reflex. It becomes an active choice. You are deciding to sustain it. When we let fear dictate our choices, we avoid difficult conversations. That avoidance operates like compound interest in reverse, building an emotional debt that grows larger every day. Navigating chaos requires internal emotional regulation and constant relational deposits. By the time you actually need your community, it is already too late to build it. Life design treats your existence as an active, testable portfolio of skills, relationships, and experiences, rather than a series of passive events happening to you. Society measures success by material wealth. As income grows, lifestyle inflates. You buy a bigger house and a fancier car, which require longer commutes and more maintenance. You often trade your freedom for time poverty. An alternative metric is time affluence. This involves prioritizing time freedom and buying experiences, which tend to appreciate in memory rather than renting objects. You cannot perfectly plan your ideal life in advance. You have to test your way into it by running tiny, low-risk experiments to see what actually works for you. Long-term wealth involves building margins. When you create empty space in your calendar and your finances, you give yourself the capacity to capture unexpected opportunities. We all operate under the exact same uncompromising 30,000-day countdown. Your micro-habits dictate your days. Your days stack into your years. Those years become your entire life. Pick one tiny adjustment today. Spend 5 minutes testing a new approach, and let that small win build real momentum. A moment of wonder. We cannot pause the clock. But by actively engineering our systems, we force our remaining time to expand.